The online speaking mini lesson. The roles of the speaker and a listener in a conversation are very circular. Once speech has been received by a listener, that person responds to it and thus, in turn, becomes the speaker, providing the next set of information to the original speaker. If there are only two people in the conversation, the roles of provider and responder are fairly clear-cut. But when there are several listeners, only one of whom can respond to the original speech, there is a need for one of these listeners to come into the conversation by voluntarily responding. Unfortunately, most learners have been taught that the only way to respond to what someone says is to ask a question. Thus, a lot of dialogues resemble a ping-pong game of question, answer, etc. Even in your native language, you will soon realize that this kind of conversation does not happen in reality. Certainly, a question is one form of coming in. If very little speech is provided by the speaker, it can be the only form available to the responder. But the learner needs to be able to know how to respond in different ways. It must always be remembered that roles are circular, and that what you respond with is what you provide for the next cycle of dialogue. Questions are one form of response, but you can also respond with a common point, a shared experience, a short comment or opinion, a recommendation or a suggestion. Maybe the impulse to ask a question is not always the best one. The responder needs to think what they are likely to receive from the response. A question will only get an answer. On occasion, that may be necessary if what was received was information poor, and it may be useful if it gets a story, an explanation, a process, etc. But a lot of the time, a question will merely get a simple answer, one that in turn is hard to develop into a conversation. Other ways of coming in get different results. A shared experience may lead to a conversation of nostalgic tale-telling and comparisons. A suggestion might lead to a series of complaints and excuses that each can be commented on. A look at some of the examples may give you an idea of what is possible beyond the simple question-answer format. Again, you will see that there is no great increase in the difficulty of vocabulary or structure. The words and structure are always there to serve a purpose, and they are never fixed. The job of the responder is to be flexible enough to think ahead to what their response will get in turn. There is never a correct response to speech received.